Hello, and welcome to Rallying the Forge. I'm your host, Sol. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Rallying the Forge. I'm Solimer, and today's episode is going to be a quick one, I hope. We are just going to be covering the November Silver Tournament. We're going to be doing a preview of that. In my last video, we discussed lots of things about it. We're going to rehash most of those same points, and then we're going to look at some other stuff for it. So, of course, next Saturday, they're having a silver tournament with a lot of rewards for the top 8. So as you can see on here, November 23rd, 2024, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. In the Discord, they have, I still didn't look up what it was. I've heard it, I just don't remember because I never use it. They have it where it is in your time. So if you go to the announcements section on the Discord, you'll see it'll have the date and time in your part of the world. It could be the 24th, 22nd, depending on where you are, perhaps. So check that out to get the exact time. If you are in the United States, in the Eastern Time Zone, it will be 4 p.m. start time. So that's what I would go by for the time. This is a silver event. In my previous video, I mentioned how you were unable to use gold decks in a lot of silver events, or they were blocking gold events or gold decks from being in silver events. Apparently, that was a bug from the third-party client, as far as I know, because we've since tested and seen that we can now submit gold decks for this event. And I think, yeah, I've got mine submitted as a holder, but so you can use gold decks in the silver event. And technically, you're supposed to get buys. I don't know if they're going to do buys. I don't know if I'm going to take my gold deck. That's something to figure out, I guess. But we'll figure that out as the week progresses. So to participate, obviously, we have the link for the event. I'll have that in my on the links for in my video description. I'll also have the link for the Discord that you need to join, and I'll have the main Discord as well, and also some others that you can join for different communities, as I try to always have them there. So for this, you'll want to join the official online events Discord. So you don't necessarily have to talk, but you need to be able to hear, so you can hear the tournament organizer give instructions, just for communication purposes. Of course, you'll need, if you've got the game, you more likely have it on Steam, and you have a Steam friend code. You'll want to change your username to include that Steam code, so that way people can add you on Steam, so they can battle you when they're matched up with you. So it says it's going to be 4 rounds and a top 8 cut. That's going to be interesting. Normally, the rounds are determined by how many players there are, and 27 players, I think, should be a 5-round event. In this case, it's not going to be there because of time restraints and whatnot. This could go quite long. They are saying 4 rounds, so that means it is going to be extra hard to get into the top 8. So I'll try to break down those numbers a little bit, maybe. Maybe we'll get into that here. The prizes: first place, 32 last winner digital decks, 1,000 SFG if your deck is minted, and a first place badge. So first, second, third, fourth get a badge, and then top 8 get a badge, and ninth place and below will get a November tournament badge. So everyone gets a badge. So that's your participation trophy. For those who wanted everyone to get rewards or whatnot, that's not how these things normally work. So you can see the rewards sliding down. One less booster for the top 4, and then 5th through 8th get 8 less winter decks, which is 2 boosters. Again, for all the SFG rewards, your deck must be minted, both halves. I don't know how that process verification works or whatnot. They obviously have ways to see that, so I'm not concerned with it. I will not be having a minted deck. Some people will, some people won't. I feel like a lot of people will. Right now, SFG is worth its highest amounts it's been worth since it's been released. Sol is also at record highs apparently. So that amount right there it's worth a lot of money essentially. Okay. I don't know what just happened with my mic. So let's see. It still seems to be recording. It's just not working how I thought it would work. Okay. Bonus prizes. You can get 4 last winter decks for streaming the event or recording it and posting it online after the fact, or for promoting the event, such as this. You can get 4 last winter decks for promoting it. So I did a video last weekend talking about it a little bit, and now this video, which is just on this event, because I want more people to join. I think it's a great opportunity for players, new or old, to join in and have some competitive fun. Even with a good deck, you could get destroyed and go, in this case, 0-4. So even if you're new and don't have a great deck and you go 0-4, there's a lot of things you can, one, play with other people in the community, have a good time, and learn things about your deck or get ideas for other decks. It's something I do all the time. So he does say since this silver event, unranked bronze and silver decks can't compete. He should have it saying gold can also compete, as I have a gold deck submitted. So that was a bug before. I had previously thought that it was something else that I thought they could block gold decks from being in there. And there's a level I feel they should redo that whole system, but I'm not going to really dive into that. I would just make some changes to how it works for the competitive sake of things. But we can submit gold now, so if you have a gold deck, bring it. Let's see here. So we'll go to the roster. This is something I wanted to do, is see who has submitted decks. We talked about Bryce's deck last time. Let me pop it up here. Carl got with me after my last video and said this was a placeholder. I don't know if he submitted his actual deck now. This is still the placeholder, I believe. I can't be sure. I can't remember exactly what his was. I think his is the placeholder. Bryce's is still the same. His is silver or gold. I don't know what level it's at now. He's won a bunch with it, though. He's done very well with this deck. So we talked about this deck. We talked about this one, but this is just a placeholder. He's got the actual deck. Actually, I can see. Maybe I can bring it up, and that will help. He did send me the link to it, and he was okay with me, I think, sharing it. Let me pop it up here. Okay, so this is the actual deck he's going to play. This looks like the deck he played in previous events for prizes, where he won those, or was at the top of it. So not a surprise he'd play it again, and no matter whether it was silver or gold, he would still be able to play it because they fixed the system. So obviously Apocalypse Drix, wonderful combination. He has Krogaius Mantis in the deck. And I think he said he plays Nova with it. No, he plays Steel Rosetta with Tinker. He's got to play that. Okay. It was the other deck he talked about. He didn't play whatever Forge one, I thought. So this deck's done very well for him. I don't think I've played him against this deck, so I don't know exactly how it plays. He has a Steel Eye Researcher, which is nice. So that's another card that people have to address when they face him. Obviously, you have Apocalypse Drix, the Researcher. Of course, you get the Cycle 3. Krogaius can be a threat. These armored creatures, I imagine, are annoying with the armor on them. And then, of course, he has a pretty good spell pool here. Botanimate for some control. Lycian Rain, Summoning Council for minions and going wide. Getting Oak Fathers out with Breakthrough. Druid's Chant to pump something, gain some life as well. Nano Swarm, of course. You get the Scientist out there. You get the Gizmo minions, Mega Gizmo minions, pumping everything. Electronet can be free. So a lot of good stuff in here. He does very well with it. I don't think I've played it, so I don't know how it will, how it'll work necessarily. But I do love Drix Apocalypse decks, and that's definitely tough to. You can't let that get going. You definitely got to stop that. Problem is, if you do get that under control, you still have to worry about Krogaius. He gets it to level 3. You have to deal with it through combat damage. So he's always got that in his back pocket. He's got a bunch of other cards, obviously, here to help him mold his strategy, whatever it may be. I don't know if it's one consistent theme for him or if there's multiple avenues. As I said, I haven't played against him, so I don't know. I haven't really sat down and talked with him regarding it. But he's done very well with this deck. He does have an operator, which is nice with the Scientist. He does have some stealth, aggressive here as well, with replacement synergy, of course, which helps with the Apocalypse. So he has some answers for various things that could pop up as well. Of course, he's got this big defender, and it can move, so he can move it to where he needs it if he needs that body. Excuse me. And then the Battle Droid, of course, again with armor, does have low health, so it's susceptible to certain abilities and whatnot. But if they don't have those cards, then this can be a big threat for sure. So a lot of good cards. What are the worst cards here that he has? Probably the Scavenger is one of his weaker cards because it's just a defender. It could be a good, useful card, very situational. The Splicer, depending how the game's going, if you can get past that first level with that, it's a good card beyond its first level. It's tough with its first level, but if you can sacrifice the board state or have the right opportunity for it, then it can be good as well. Everything else is pretty good. The Sentinel as well is situational, I feel like, in this deck. Don't get me wrong, they have uses, and they probably appear often where he can make use of them. But there are times when you don't draw the best hands, and they are definitely cards you're not going to play over other cards. So I like the deck. It's definitely different. It does have a Mantis though, so it still falls under my my rule of thumb for that type of stuff. Utera Necrium falls under that. Mantis decks do. So no surprise there. Thigh has a deck submitted, so we're gonna pop open some of these other decks. Digit Stack. It's a player I never heard of. Gorgeous has a deck submitted, and I don't know if these are the decks they're using or not, but we're going to look at them, and we'll pull mine this last. So Thigh's deck here. I just played this last night. I feel like I played this one. Oh, maybe this is a little different. This might be a little different. No, this is different. I played Radis's Nuada. I played a Nuada deck last night. So Nuada, hand 2. So obviously with the life gain, Nuada, I didn't realize with Nuada, well, I'm talking about decks, when you play another creature into an empty lane, you gain 2 health. And this apparently applies just to your side of the board. It doesn't matter if your opponent has a creature in that lane. It's just your half of the board, you gain the health. So as long as you're not replacing a creature, you get the health. You get 2 health at the level 2 and 4 health at level 3. That can be massive life gain when you go with, when you have, well, multiple open lanes and you can fill them up. So, a card like River Souls can be nice in that fact that, you know, because you're putting your creature into that lane, gaining that health. It could help with our boards if you can get the health up. Trigger that, of course. That's so rare to be able to do, getting him out and having 50 plus health. Not impossible, but rare. Of course, you have the Swamp Moss for free play. You know, that's a staple for a lot of health gain type decks. Charger's a great card in my opinion. It can be a great removal card. Can be a big threat to your opponent. I don't care much for the Tangle Sprout. Don't know how much he plays it in this. Soothing Raptor, of course, gaining a little bit more health. Stampeding Lotus, it's a great underdrop card. Every faction has one of these cards that's kind of an underdrop. I like them. I think they're well designed. And then we get the Necrim creatures. Well, Nuada, let's talk about Nuada's other part here. He puts an Exalt in play. First time you gain health, you get a Wisp minion. And then if you have no empty lanes, you transform this to the Oak Guardian, which is a 10/10 breakthrough. When you gain health, you gain +1 of that in addition. It's also a level 3 creature, and I've played against this probably only a handful of times, a Nuada deck, and I know I've played Casey Kidd had one, and he flipped it on cycle 1, and I just got crushed because I couldn't do anything to it. You know, Botanimates, Dreadbolts don't work until they get leveled up to level 3. I had no answer for that. He crushed me in the match I played against him. I played Radis last night, testing out a deck, and he was close to putting me in the grave, and I dug my way out. So I got lucky there. This can be very dangerous, though. If you let them get their board state going and they flip that, that's a threat you have to answer, and then that lets them bring out any other threats they have, and they are going to be significantly smaller threats, and you have to deal with that. That's not necessarily... It's just a bad situation to be in. The Necrim side, you got, of course, a Brood Skeleton. Skeleton's just, no matter what you do with the Brood portion, that can be nice. But you do have a big body at level 3. The Covetous Bloodlord. He's a stealth creature. He can pump himself up and give your creatures -3. So it can be really useful. The first 2 levels anyway. With low attack creatures or defenders you don't need their attack, and you're just pumping him up. You know, if you had a 0 attack creature out there, they're not losing anything, and you're just gaining free attack. So that's a neat little trick with him. Gloom Reaper Hag, one of my favorite common cards. Great underdrop, great on cycle, or on cycle drop, whatever you like to do. I love the card. I think it's a great card, well designed. Graveborn Caller, another stealth, can put more bodies in play, so that has a lot of value. Definitely something people need to address, because otherwise at level 3 they're putting out zombie brute minions. Hand 2, of course, we all know his deal. You gotta make sure you get rid of him. Horrific Direhound. So great deployability, but also can bring stuff back, along with River of Souls. So even though you got rid of the hand 2, he can pop him back out. Can bring Nuada back out. Can do a lot of stuff here. That can be especially dangerous. Depending on the state of the match, you really got to control the board against this deck here. They've got the Engulfer, so if they do have an Exalt down, which they only have a handful, he has the ability to destroy low attack creatures. So this can get rid of things like Darkheart Sorcerer, Drix, low level threats like that. And it gets stronger, obviously, as it levels up. So that's always a potential threat and something you'll have to deal with if they do drop it and can utilize it. And then Spirit Reaver, probably one of the weaker cards of the Necreum creatures here, probably the weakest, really. But it does have utility. There are places for it and uses you can get out of it. So that it is what that is. Spell-wise, they have the Venom Chalice. So give a creature -3, and they play a creature, give it +3. So that is an Exalt. Not going to help the Engulfer, though. But they can pump up one of their own guys and potentially kill off one of yours with this by playing this. And then they reap the benefits later when they play a creature on it. Obviously, Botanimate for control. Ferocious Roar to pump their board. If they've got a full board, it's not a bad play. This deck wants to get a full board, at least initially, to flip over this Oak Guardian. So that's what they're definitely going to be trying. There's plenty of creatures here. Dreadbolt, of course, removal, like Botanimate, and then River of Souls, another card to bring back creatures. This deck looks like it's going to be relentlessly annoying. You're going to remove things, get rid of things, and he has plenty of methods to bring things back, and it can get annoying really quick. You kill off the Nuada, where you flip the Oak Guardian, and you killed it. Well, he can bring Nuada back and start the process all back over and get him back out there. Killed off hand 2, he can bring it back. All this stuff. So really interesting deck. And let's check the Forge Borns here. So I'm guessing he uses Oros with the Dark Forge Drain. He doesn't have Forge Seal. He doesn't have Mantis. But Dark Forge Drain, that can pump something up. Preferably a stealth or a breakthrough creature to help push some damage through or prevent you from killing off one of his massive creatures. And all the while, don't forget Nuada's level 2 and 3 versions are gaining him health. So if he's keeping his health up, especially with a full board, he's not maybe taking as much damage. His Arboreus, if he stays at above 50 health and you're getting to cycle 3, you're in danger. If he drops that on the board, it's basically game over, unless you have a removal card. You're not going to kill it through combat damage. Your Kragaius or whatever the biggest creature you can think of isn't going to be able to kill it unless you've got like 100 health and you have a Swamp Moss Lurker opposing it. So definitely possible. I don't know how often he gets Arboreus the proc. I know any Arborist decks I've ever had, it's hard to get it to go off. I've probably had one go off ever. So, I don't know. We'll see here. So that's that deck. So we have Digit Stack, a player I've never heard of, but they're signed up and they have their deck submitted. So we have a Mantis deck here. Looks like they got some life gain going on. Just glancing over anything. Okay. So they have a keeper, so beasts. The Glowhive Siren is a beast. Leyline Vermin's a beast. Mantis is a beast. So they're going for the beast synergy here. They have a Sated Ranger. So if they have more than 50 health, it gets +5. They have 40 and then 30. It gets a big boost to attack. Spring Dryad, of course, helping keep that life up. Stouthide Stegodon, again, more health gain, and of course a big breakthrough body. And then a Stout Hunter, utilizing their deployability, can be a good move depending on situation, of course. The Tempest creatures they have, a Seer Mecha Mage, so spells leading into a 4 damage poke of some nature. Flame Shaper's Avant, you play level 1 card, dealing some damage, of course, there. Hibernating Worm, big body. Lightning Tamer gets to play the extra minions with it. Stampeding Colossus, another breakthrough creature. Thundersoar, one of my faves. Of course, can get out of hand. And Windspark Elemental, a great off-forge drop to have in your arsenal. Spells lead the charge, so they can ready something. Perhaps, potentially, ideally Mantis. But there's other uses as well throughout this deck where that could be useful. Savage Oath, pumping a creature or for warrior, giving them an even bigger boost. Conflagrate, Lightning Spark, and then Pyrosong definitely can come in handy here. So a lot of removal type options, a lot of control type options here. Let's check out the Forgeborns. So he's got Nova. Nova's Touch on cycle 4 or level, cycle 4. If the Mantis is leveled up on cycle, you could have that for cycle 3, but I don't know which Forgeborn they use. You have Demolish, Flame Strike, Lightning Speed. I'm not sure which one they use. I don't know which one I would lean towards. I'd have to see how the deck plays, if it's hyper aggressive or not. Sometimes if it's really aggressive, I might lean towards Korok. If it's not as aggressive, I might lean towards Nova. I don't know how it plays. But it definitely is going to be trying to take advantage of these beasts. I don't know if he had any beasts here. I don't think so. But, so he's got some beast synergy there. Definitely got some life gain mechanics here. He's got a lot of removal type abilities to help control the board. Doesn't have any hard removal, but he does have a lot of utility cards to take control of the board, and then he does have some creatures that can get pretty big and be threatening. He does have a lot of breakthrough in the deck, so that definitely is going to be something that I'm sure they lean on. What happened to the... That's been happening a lot lately. It times out when you sit on the page and don't do anything. So this must be Gorgeous's deck. Oh, yes. This is... I don't want to face him. So, this is ugly. So he's got a Betrayer Swamp Moss with a regular Swamp Moss. He's got Mantis, Kragaius, Forge Seal. It's Necrim Mutera. It's got Darkheart Sorcerer. It's got everything everyone dislikes about the current meta. This is the epitome of the meta. So, creatures, he's got Broodfang. So, great utility. I don't know where it ranks on how frequently it's played or whatnot, but it definitely can be dropped and be a massive disruptor. And once it's on the board, you've got to deal with it. You can't let it potentially get off multiple times, multiple turns in a row. So, Commanding Stitcher. I'm not big on Stitchers. I don't know where it fits in here, but it could be used to bring back, if he gets minions out, it could be used to bring back some other creatures that he may rather have out there. But it also does give zombies plus health and attack. So that's a side benefit of it. It's also a Scientist. Don't know if that plays. It looks like he does have the renewal, so it plays into that. Darkheart Sorcerer, of course. One of the strongest Necrim cards they have. So we all know Darkheart's capabilities. He's got to be dealt with and removed when he hits the board. Spirit Reaver, again, a card that can have some utility, but probably not a focus of the deck, but could be played if there's a specific situation, or if that's really just the best card he has to play. So, of course, Swamp Moss Lurker. This is intended to be a free play, and if he gets these going free, this could be a disaster for somebody. And if he gets on a roll with the health gain and whatnot, it could spiral down quickly for somebody. Having two of them is just bananas. So, of course, the Mutera side, Kragaius, we know about Kragaius. It's all right there. That's his back door. I don't know if he hard plays it or what, but anyone who's got Kragaius, either they're going to hard play it and you're going to see the level 3 if you get there, or they backdoor it somehow and don't play it until the level 3 just comes out and crushes you. Sparian Steel Plate. So, again, I don't know how much. It looks like he's got a lot of options for some minion generation, so I don't know if he replaces a lot of things. But this card can obviously be really good. It buffs itself, but then starts buffing adjacent and then all your creatures. So that could be a strong play depending on how things are going. Mystical Ranger, of course, playing another Wisp minion. Looks like he has tons of minion generation, despite looking like he's going to have a full board anyway with the free Swamp Mosses. And having no empty lanes, the Ranger gets stronger. So that can be a strong card as well in those situations. Pack Raptor, again, a full board. This gets huge. It doesn't have breakthrough, thankfully, but it's still something you're going to have to deal with when it's getting level 3 +4 for each other of your other creatures in play. You've got plus 16 attack. It's got 29 attack. You can't just take that hit. You've got to block it, preferably kill it. The Splicer, like I've said before, get past that level 1, and it's a really strong card. If even, there are situations where you can play the level 1 and you still get value out of it with what he has in his deck with as much, looks like a ton of minion generation. This could be easy for him. He's going to have a creature to replace to make it an Oak Father, and he can sacrifice the Splicer, the board state, because he has so much stuff that's going to help him generate more. This deck looks like it keeps the board full all the time. Stampeding Mantis. It's a Mantis we'll look at the Forgeborns here after going through the cards. And, of course, the regular Swamp Moss Lurker. I wonder which one looks better, the purple or the green. What do you guys think? I think the purple looks a little bit better with this one. I don't know why. Just the green it's just too much green for me because the Swamp Moss Lurker is kind of green too. I often find that Betrayer cards look better in their Betrayer version. For some reason, it's like 90% of Betrayers, 9 out of every 10, look better as a Betrayer. I don't know why. Okay, so spells. Dreadbolt, hard removal. Great to have in your arsenal. Ghastly renewal. If you got a scientist out there, you're going to get zombies, lots of zombies, and the level 3, of course, you're reanimating, bringing stuff back onto the board. That can be super dangerous when you've got things like Swamp Moss Lurkers. If he gets them to level 3 and you were fortunate enough to get them off the board, well, now you can bring them back. That's a problem. Group Meal. This lets him upgrade cards, and he does have a lot of zombie potential plays. And, of course, the level 3, he can play a card from his discard pile for free. But all this upgrading that he can do with this card, if he gets it at the right time, lets him bypass having to play certain cards. Like I talked about, you have the level 1 Kurgeist, level 1 Splicer, even the level 1 Steel Plate, maybe the level 1 Stitcher, things like that. He can just bypass playing them because he knows he can upgrade them using this card, and that sets him up for a much better cycle 2 and 3 and 4 when he can get past those first levels of those cards without actually having to play them and playing something else that is a better play, and obviously he still wants to level those cards up too. So this could be a huge card for how his deck works. Maybe him getting it on turn 1 each cycle would be really nice for everyone else, not him. Infernal Ritual. So depending how things are going, again, he can get additional zombies out there if he sacrifices something, if there's something not going well for him, or just to level the card, or you can use the Group Meal to level this card up. But once you get to the level 2, you're getting zombie brute minions. They're getting +2. Your zombies get +2 attack. They get aggressive. And your level 3, this is a very strong card. Depending on, if they wipe out your board, you can almost fill it back up, and you've got some big bodies out there. And I've seen this card win many matches. It's a very strong card in the right situations. So depending on how the game's going, it's going to dictate whether you're going to see it or not. Nom Nom. This is a great 2-for-1 card. In an ideal world, you're destroying a creature, so you get the free zombie minion. The level 1 is a little weak, but the level 2 is pretty balanced, and level 3 is good enough. So these are a good group of spells. And then you have Druid's Chant, of course, some health gain, and creature pump. Forge Seal, again, more Forgeborn stuff, but also potential life gain if you have a spirit in play. Elysian Rain is more minions and minion pump. So I feel like I've played this deck maybe once. I feel like he crushed me, whatever I was playing. I don't even think I really saw his whole deck through. This is, to me, a very scary deck. It has a lot of things it can do. A lot of avenues for him to go with how he wants to play it. I don't know. Hopefully I don't have to face him and find out. But a lot of good cards. I don't see a lot of instances where he has a really bad hand. I could come up with some here. There's definitely 5 cards I could say put him in a hand and he's not going to like it. But, yeah. So, he's got Oros, but I'm guessing he uses the Circe with the Mantis and Forge Seal. And We talked about Swamp Moss and eating health. So getting his health low quick is going to disrupt him. He also has the Dark Heart Sorcerer to gain health back. If you can keep that under control, he doesn't have many ways to get his health up. So if you can play something like a Creeper right off the bat, that's going to hit him hard. If you can control the Dark Heart Sorcerer, he may not be able to recover from that to get his free plays going. But he's got Life Drain. He's got 2 opportunities to potentially use it in cycle 1. He'll be able to use it in cycle 2. The Soul Siphon, he's got plenty of minions to sacrifice to pump something else up, so that's probably an easy one for him. He's got a ton of generation here. He's got so much, it's probably sometimes too much for him. And of course, Army Commander, upgrading and playing something for free. He's got 2 opportunities potentially to play that in cycle 3. That can bring out stuff like Krogaius or a level 3 Dark Heart Sorcerer or whatever. He's got options there, and then of course cycle 4 he gets to use it again. It's going to be tough against this deck, but there's definitely ways to beat it. Like I said, something opening up to be able to deal damage to him to bring his health down early. A Lightning Spark would do it. Dropping him before he can get the lurkers out. And, when you play a spell, he's not going to have a target if he drops a Mantis or a Forge Seal to be able to life drain against you. So that can really slow this deck down. And decks that are suppressive, so Aloyan decks that have Sonic Burst, things of that nature, they can control decks like this. If he doesn't get his minions pumped up, he could, have a board wipe quite easily. Darkheart is a perfect target for Sonic Burst. So there could be matchups here he's going to have to work hard to win, but his deck on the whole can be very strong and almost unstoppable if you don't have the right stuff at the right time, and he does. So this deck's going to be interesting to see how it does. I know he really wanted this Swamp Moss Betrayer half in a recent sale of a collection, so we'll see how it performs. It's going to be interesting for sure. And then lastly, let's see here. Lastly is my Worlds deck. I don't think I'm going to play it. I think I'm going to play a different deck. I could play this. I love this deck. It's so much fun. Double Windy, Furious Shard back. A lot of good spells. We have Dr. Frankenbaum, Gloom Reaper Hag, Shambling Demon. A lot of good cards in here. I could play it, but I really want to try this other deck and see how it does. I want to have options at the top of my collection with good decks, and sometimes I'm hampered because my son takes majority of the good decks that we get when we open packs and such. But I want to have some options, so I think I'm going to play the other deck, and I'm not revealing what that is. People who've been playing in any constructed events lately know what the deck is. It's not a surprise. I'm going to the dark side. Utera Necrium, Mantis, the usual. Everything I've railed against because I feel I have no other option. I could play this, though, now. Previously, I could not. I could play this, though. But I don't think I am. This deck's a lot of fun. But I think I want to try the other deck, and hopefully it does well. If it does well, then awesome. But if not, that's okay. It's going to be a tough event. There are currently 27 players signed up. I'm guessing we'll get some more. Hopefully we get more. And the other thing I was going to talk about is making the top cut. So with only 4 rounds, you're going to have people 4-0 and then 3-1s. Let's just bump this to 28 so we have an even amount of players. How many will we have at 4-0? So we could have 4 players at 4-0 potentially, or 3. But if we have 4, if we got this up to 32, it's for sure 4. And I think the numbers are going to increase before that. I think we'll get a few more people as more people put out videos for it to get people to join. So you're going to have 4 people at 4-0. That's already half of the top 8 spots. And then the other 4 spots are going to be people who are 3-1. And then those 3-1 people are going to have really high opponent win percentages. So basically, they're going to have played other 3-1 people and beat them, and maybe their only loss is to one of the top 4 people who go 4-0. It is going to be very hard to get into the top 8. Even just going 3-1 period is going to be hard, but to make the top 8, you're going to need a top-level tiebreaker. So that's going to make it very interesting. And 2 losses, you're not making top 8, but you can stick around and have fun. And typically in between rounds, when people are finishing up matches, people are just in chat and having a good time, and you just never know what people are going to talk about or who's going to be there. It always seems to be a good time. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm looking over some of the decks that have been submitted so far. They could change. Hopefully, if you're not signed up, you decide you do want to sign up and participate. We would love to have you. Anyone who does participate, good luck to you. I do plan to stream next weekend for the event. I'll be doing my matches live as long as all goes well. And so hopefully everyone does well and everyone gets, not everyone's going to get something, but hopefully everyone has a good time and just has fun with everyone else in the community. And I look forward to playing against whomever I draw. So thank you for watching this video. It turned out to be quite long, I guess, because I went through the decks and I talked forever about decks. But hopefully you enjoy the video, and I'll have all the links in the description to sign up for the event, the Discords, etc. I appreciate your time, and look forward to seeing you guys next weekend for the November Silver Tournament. Thanks. This has been an episode of Rallying the Forge. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.